Hey guys, my name is Sanjay and welcome to the Engineer Wannabe YouTube channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the Tudor Black Bay 54. I've had this for about 2 months now and I feel I'm ready to do a review. I have it on the rubber strap. We'll talk about why I didn't go with the bracelet in a moment. I believe the smarter thing would have been to go with the bracelet, but I'll mention that about that in a bit. On my wrist today, wristwatch check, is the Omega Planet Ocean 39.5. Just before we start, I want to mention that you are infinitely valuable, that a great price has been paid for you, and I hope you know it. You're worth it. You're precious. You really are. Let's get into it. So the Black Bay 54. This was a watch that a lot of people said is probably a bit too small when it first came out. Well, maybe not a lot of people. A few people were going gaga over it, me included, but I did have some concerns to begin with. But let's get into the dimensions. That way we can get right into the rest of the review. 37mm diameter watch, 46mm lug to lug, 11.3mm in thickness according to my calipers, 20mm lug width. So a couple of my concerns to begin with was the lug to lug and the case profile. You can see the lugs come straight out. I was a little concerned about that before I saw the watch. The other concern was the lug width. It's really wide. At first, especially from the press shots, I thought it looked a little awkward. The wider lug width for the smaller watch head was a little strange looking for me personally, but that quickly went away once I saw it in person. The concern still remains about the lug to lug. 46 doesn't sound too bad, but considering the shape of the watch, this watch, it may seem small, but honestly it's not made for the smaller wrist per se. It'll work on a smaller wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference for reference, so it will work on a smaller wrist. But I'm sure if you take a look at a video that I did recently comparing 3 of my dive watches, there is still an air gap because of how straight those lugs are, and certain occasions, certain points of the day can start to look a little awkward on your wrist, and it's never a nice thing when you go to look at the time and you see this lopsided watch. And maybe that doesn't bother you, but I like my watches to look pretty good on me at most, if not all, occasions. This doesn't quite hit that, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. It's just a bit of a compromise, right? Let's keep going. We can talk about the movement. It's the in-house caliber from the Tudor, the MT something or other. Please pardon me. I knew it not too long ago, but anyway. It's got 72 hours of power reserve. It's anti-magnetic. It's got all the amenities, shock resistant, and so on and so forth. So it is a modern movement that is very adequate for this watch. Closed case back, so you don't have to see it, thankfully, because it's not the best finished movement, or not very well finished at all, to be frank. But that's a good thing. Closed case back means it's nice and thin. No point of water intrusion with the sapphire crystal. Not that that's a huge concern because they are tested, but in the future, 20 years from now. The buckle here is a T-fit clasp. Very nice ceramic snaps, ceramic ball bearings that give it beautiful action and sounds. I love fidgeting with this when I'm wearing it. It's one thing about these Tudor clasps with the ceramic, and of course they're spring loaded as well. You may notice this goes in and out. That's just fantastic. Tudor, just so good. But the divot is not ceramic coated or anything, so that will still wear. I'm sure they've taken that into account. The fact that it's spring loaded is the good part, so the wear will be minimal. The T-fit clasp I mentioned is This on-the-fly quick adjustment, very handy to have if you like to wear your watches tight or snug. This will give you about 1.8 millimeters of play, which is a lot of play, especially on a rubber strap, because you can get a really nice fit with the rubber strap, and then you have all this micro adjustment to play with. I hear with the bracelet it's less useful because you have to use the T-fit to get the perfect fit. So that's too bad on the bracelet front, but on the rubber strap front, you can get a really good fit and keep that fit throughout the day and the seasons, over the seasons. The dial of this watch is quite plain. It has there's a shimmer about it that I haven't recognized in previous watches. Maybe it's just me, but I've owned the Black Bay 58 before, and it never gave me this shimmer that I'm seeing right now. The indices are filled with it's filled with luminous material, luminous paint, and it's adequate. So the lume performance is adequate. If I were to check the watch at say 4 a.m. after having put it in my drawer at around 10 p.m., it will be hard to read for the most part. Within reasonable amount of time, if you don't need to look at it through all points of the night, this will suffice. It's perfectly satisfactory luminous performance. Gilt hands and indices. You can see that lollipop seconds hand, which is what was different about the hands here as well, and there's no snowflake square on the minute hand. The other thing that's different from the Black Bay 58 is there's no graduation here from 0 to 15. A bit more of a cleaner watch, and I think this looks really good. It's a very charming watch, especially on the bracelet. It looks so good. This watch I've been mainly wearing on a sailcloth strap from Artem. I've been really enjoying it that way. I've also been enjoying it on a few leather straps when it's not too hot. I thought I was okay with this rubber strap look. I honestly, at this point, I think it is pretty bad looking on this configuration right now. I don't like the whole end link thing, and the rubber strap feels really quite cheap. There's just no substance to it. I'm just not a fan, and you might like this, the way this looks, and that's great. I feel like this should have been something that Tudor included, like they do with the Pelagos. I'm sure there would have been a way to remove the clasp, and the end links of course come out, and you could have had the bracelet and just these two pieces of rubber. It would have cost nothing for Tudor to do that, but they didn't. That's very unfortunate. Because at first I thought this was okay, and of course my intent was to buy this watch and wear it on sailcloth and rubber. The reason I didn't want to do the bracelet was because the Black Bay 58, I've had issues with the length of the swing arm. The clasp looks smaller, but on a smaller wrist the swing arm is extremely large, and there's a non-articulating end link on that clasp, which made it impossible for me to really enjoy the Black Bay 58. Up until recently, I got the Black Bay 58 Bronze. Now that one has a T-fit clasp as well, and that fixed the issue. So I'm guessing, I'm extrapolating here, but I'm guessing the Black Bay 54's bracelet's clasp won't have those issues. I just assumed it did, and I had already written off the bracelet back when I was looking to purchase this. Reconsidering the bracelet, but at the same time, if I were to sell this, I want to put a little section here talking to future me and telling them why I wouldn't buy this watch again. Because I tend to rebuy watches and I don't want to do that anymore. So, future Sanjay, hope everything's working out really well. Hope the kids are well and and all that. But you know, you bought this watch, maybe you sold it on. I just want you to remember, you know, the Lug to Lug was okay on paper. It seems okay, but it just does not fit on your wrist as good as it could. There is always a bit of an air gap on a sailcloth. When you wear it tight, it looks good, and once it's nice and tight, It'll always stay like that, but it's not comfortable to wear it like that all day, every day, especially if you're detailing. I don't know if you're still detailing, but if you are, it's just not comfortable. It's not sustainable to wear your watch tight all day. So, you know, that was one of the reasons you probably sold this on. Another thing, this rubber strap, just don't get the rubber strap again. But this rubber strap, it doesn't fit great. There's another indication that this wasn't made for the small wrist. So it's 16 centimeter wrist circumference. I hope you haven't gained any weight, future Sanjay. But 16 centimeter circumference wrist. This is just snug, and we're in the middle of summer, so it's warm, and this is snug. Now, come winter time, future Sanjay, this is going to be loose, and it's not going to be wearable on this rubber strap. And as you can see, the clasp is not centered on your wrist. But the cool thing is the swing arm is not too long, and there's no weird protrusion here at the end. So if you've stumbled into some money and you really want to buy the Black Bay 54 again, go with the bracelet, please. Don't get the rubber strap. And I'm talking to future me. So if you love the rubber strap, talking to audience now, if you love the rubber strap, go for it. But future Sanjay, please don't. If you see press photos of this watch, know that this looks a lot better in person than it does on pictures. The wider, squatter, flatter look, it's just very different, and it's very beautiful to look at. And those bevels, they really catch the light very nicely, and it's a pleasant watch. It's just a great watch. So, guys, talking back to the audience again, what do you think? Did I give future Sanjay bad advice? I hope you enjoyed this a little mini review of the Tudor Black Bay 54. I'm going to keep enjoying the Planet Ocean here. And the Black Bay 54, I don't know. I think this might be the one to leave the collection, because the Black Bay 50 bronze is that good. It's so good. So I'm enjoying the Black Bay 50 bronze. I neglected to put it on my desk, so I apologize. But guys, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'd be happy to help you out. Remember, you are infinitely valuable. You really are precious. You really are worth it. I hope you know that. Alright guys, take care, stay safe out there. See you in the next video. Bye.